Hello Libra, and welcome to your Libra January 2022 reading and predictions. I'm Nigel Saint James. For those of you who are stopping by for the first time, great to meet you. Hope you're doing well, and I hope you're doing well. Subscribers, my love and affection to you always. It's great to see you. Now the subscribers know that I've published the 2022 yearly reading, and that goes for about half an hour, and it's on my playlist. Uses 12 cards. And is I think it's fascinating for Libra this year. You'll enjoy it. And it's different to this reading, which I've got to tell you, because looking at these cards, I use a lot of astrology, horoscopes, numerology, mystical Kabbalah, different things in the readings. This month, this deck is saying to me, don't do that. This deck is harking back, for me anyway, to the mystery religions of ancient Greece, ancient Rome, the Middle East, from Iran, from India, and elsewhere around the world, where people, of course, back then weren't stupid when it came to matters of spirituality. And their approach to it was in accordance with what people understood at the time and what made sense to them at the time. Now, what happens when I use this deck is that I become almost like a channel for the centers of consciousness, which are on the other side. And so what you should do is listen to the words that come through, but listen to the words that are behind the words or between the words that are spoken, because it may well be this has something to do with your shadow self, your shadow side. Now, that's not scary. It just means that, and it's the time of year to be doing that, isn't it? That we sometimes want to know what's in our subconscious, or those things that we want to resolve within ourselves and with other people. And the words that come through from here, in my experience, usually are right on the mark for what's necessary for you at this particular time. So I'm only going to draw 5, because we want to make sure this stays within a short period of time. There is Temperance. There is the High Priestess. There is the 4 of Cups. There is the 4 of Swords. Getting through these quickly, good to see. And there is, the Lovers. Okay. Now, what is usual, though, is that I will ask you to come down here, pull up a chair, sit next to me, while you and I have a look at the great imagery on these cards together, and I do the reading for you. Let's have a look at the High Priestess first. The glamour girls, it seems, of the deck. Now, she has here the pomegranate seed of Persephone. I won't go into you're probably familiar with that role where she was taken down into Hades, because Hades came up, grabbed Persephone from a field while she was out gardening, took her down to the underworld, Hades. Her mother, the goddess of nature, Demeter, couldn't find her and withdrew, and the earth became barren. And then what happened was that the gods said, this is crazy, everyone's dying. So they sent Hermes, in the Greek tradition, known as Mercury in the Roman times, down to negotiate with Hades, and he said to her, look, she hasn't eaten since she's been here. He took her down for certain unnatural purposes, I suppose, and he said, just have a seed of this fruit to sustain you, Persephone. The problem is that if you ate anything in Hades, you were bound to stay there. Anyway, a deal was cut where she could come up above ground for 6 months of the year, and then her mother Demeter could be with her, and we had spring and summer so things could grow, but then she had to go down beneath the earth into Hades again for the other 6 months, and then we had fall or autumn and winter where things stopped growing. So our High Priestess here is Persephone herself. Now the queen of the underworld, mistress of the dead and keeper of mysteries. Our torchlit search for her has been successful, but now she is the doorway through which we must pass to gain initiation. Initiates into the mysteries were taught after death to drink from the river mnemosyne, which is the Greek for memory, rather than from the river Styx or Lethe, which was forgetfulness, as the dead usually did. Thus, the initiates were promised a better afterlife. It is the river of memory that runs through the cave in this card image. This was a promise of the soul's liberation from matter and a return to its divine source. It is the descent of Persephone into Hades that we find there a powerful image of the soul. The virginal maiden descending into the darkness of the earth can be seen as a symbol of the soul entering matter. Then, because the soul is mired and hidden in the earth, just as Persephone is hidden in Hades, there is a quest to find it again. We search for our soul and our divine origin, as Demeter searched for her lost daughter, finally finding it trapped in matter, disconnected from its source, yet even in the darkness, the soul's divine light shines on. Now, what is the mystery? The mysteries are for all. Initiation is oath-bound to be given if you tread this path. Therefore, I urge you, close your ears if you do not wish to hear. Close your eyes if you do not wish to see, but know that even now you cannot close your soul to initiation, to that stair leading down to that underworld road. You have come so far, seeker, and all that is left is to part the veil and see. Know that man is destined to forget, to pass as a shadow in this world. But you have the secret of memory before you. You need only drink deeply of the river that passes through Hades to know again. Would you turn your eyes from the visions that come so easily in the vapors of the earth? Would you close your heart to the mystery I can show you? In the depths of midnight, kissed by the moon in her fullness, you will see the sun glittering with a splendid light, and know, deep silence, you will be virgin, veiled, and voiceless in this trinity of potential, a channel for vision and revelation. You will know yourself and the beyond truths, and the ever-present darkness of the chasm will bring the oracle's tongue. I am the veil and the road. I am the stair leading down and the cavern. I am the cosmos painted on the ceiling of the temple, and I am the seed that is planted. I am virgin, veiled, and voiceless. Yet it is my womb into which you pass, my voice that will whisper in your ear. Oh, my beloved initiate, things have been done, things have been shown, and things have been said. Know how to walk the path that leads to the splendid light and to memory. Do not be afraid. The seeds are sweet. Well, where shall we head next? Why don't we go underneath Miss January there and have a look at this one, which is the Lovers. Now, primarily, the symbolism of the card is that of masculine and feminine, red and white, ordinary and divine. Although here is a male figure, it's used to represent typically masculine traits and a female figure typically feminine traits. But this too is only a symbol. It doesn't reflect a notion of gender roles. We're all both the male and female figure. The mystical and magical universe functions on the basis of duality, yet it does not require that the universe or the divine be dual in nature. Instead, the duality of our world, creation and destruction, masculine and feminine, active and passive, ordinary and divine, it is created from unity. It comes from unity. The Lover's card tells that once all was one, but in order for manifestation to occur, it must become two, equal but opposite. One was divided for the sake of creation, and that creation now yearns passionately for reunion with its origins. Now, as the name of this card suggests, this is a card of love, but it does not explore only the relationship between people. Rather, it shows the relationship between the divine and the ordinary, between humans and God, the masculine and the feminine within each person, between opposite parts of the self, as they strive for union with their complement. This relationship has had a profound expression in many different religions and spiritual traditions, so it is fitting, I suppose, that the card image encompasses some of them. Now, the mystery is, in the beginning we were one, unified, and everything, undifferentiated and containing all. The stars were our bodies and souls, and our love was boundless. Yet love became yearning and gave way to reflection and a desire to know. The heavens burst and let forth the rain from the firmament, and this was our love and our pain, our separation and our joy. We became one and not one, dark and light, moon and sun, matter and spirit, human and the divine. There we found the sweetest bliss, for our yearning found manifestation. We have journeyed through the aeons and the stars to return to each other. I am that which is above, and you are below. I am the calling, you hear, pulling you towards the heights, and you are that which draws me near. O beloved one, know that you are born from the highest starfire, unified and one. Know that to reunite with me is your only quest. The mysteries of the bridal chamber are the only truth. Yet a little of the fire that you seek, my fire, can be found in other seekers of the mystical marriage. In them I am found. Love is all, and yearning, for they guide you on the push to reunion. Open yourself to love of others, of the universe, of life, and you shall come to die in my arms at the last. Well, we might have a look at this guy up here, I think. Yeah, alchemist. Which you can probably tell because there he is mixing different things and doing things. Well, the card image really does portray the mysteries of temperance as the art of alchemy. Though it bears kind of everyday mysteries also. Here is the art of blending different aspects of something to create something better, of manipulating the resources you have in a process of creation, of tempering your activities to ensure that, through moderation, you are productive. Now, temperance. Well, I don't think that name adequately conveys the depth of the mystery that it holds, conjuring up images, as it does, of quiet virtue and timidity. Well, the title seems to ignore the mystical transformation of the soul that takes place here, the process by which the base matter of the self can be changed into spiritual gold. However, Temperance is the virtue most apt for the art form of the alchemical process. This process separates the perfect spirit from the unrefined base earth, the subtle from the dense, gently with unremitting care. This is a gentle art, performed with prudence and temperance. Now, what can we say of the mystery here? Well, the spiritual journey is one of unending transformation. There is no completion at its far shores, nor the final consumption of the fuel for its phoenix fires. Even the moment of perfect attainment produces the essence of change, for the spiritual accomplishment of one spreads like a wildfire through the web of the world and the hearts of all. Thus, the stone of the philosophers turns lead into gold, the gross into the sublime. Yet, the journey to refine that miraculous stone is one of careful moderation, of the tempering of the heat of the sun and the coolness of the moon, the dryness of the day and the wetness of the night. Like the blacksmith's art of hammering and tempering the metal that will be forged into beauty and death, the alchemist's art shapes and changes the base in the vessel, undergoing many stages. The creation of the universe takes place within his art, and the creation of illumination is the vessel of his heart. But slowly, with measured grace and attentive care, must he approach the great work. There he shall rectify the base earth and find the hidden jewel. Well, let's see now. We're up for a little bit of swords action. A bit of swords action, hey? Let's see what this is. Okay. Now, I think in this card, we can see here that a young woman rests by a fire she has built in the forest. It is night time, and the stars blaze in the sky above the tree canopy. Now, by her side, sleeping, is a tame wolf, and dangling idly from her fingers is a quill pen. There is a full sheet of writing already completed beneath it, and she stares into the distance deep in thought, possibly reflecting on what she has already written, or considering the ideas she wishes to manifest next on paper. On a tree nearby is a wooden shrine to Freya. Now, she was the Norse goddess of magic, fertility, death, and beauty. Now, we could imagine the peace and solitude, relaxation and warmth that the scene depicts. Hear nothing but the gentle breeze through the trees and the crackling of the fire. Perhaps these, coupled with the even breathing of her animal companion, they lull a woman into a meditative state, trance-like, in which the flames of the fire take shape and the stars above become tapestries of stories. Now, the mystery here is, I think, that the creative mind knows no end of trials and sorrows within its halls. There are infinite doors, and not even the keenest mind can walk them all. Yet, thinker, try. You let yourself fall through the mansion of your mind, often not knowing which way you are being led, tempted by this, coaxed by that, pulled in one direction and then another. All this is the necessary journey of those who perceive and express ideas. But you come now onto my road, and it is dark and silent. No creatures of the imagination and ghosts of duty shall haunt you. nor shall the wildness of your mind send you howling through the forest, hunter and hunted at once. My blessing is that of peace of the dark, waiting womb in which all things must gestate. My mystery is that of the greatest possibilities arising from the quietest mind. Stop for a moment and be still. Listen rather than think. It is here, in the indefinable moment of absolute blankness, that your mind can be free. It is here that the very heartbeat and lifeblood of the source of your ideas can be touched, heard, and felt. It nourishes and renews you, sustains you, and gives form to your ideas as a mother gives form to her child. Mine is the womb of mystery from which all possibilities grow. Mine is the mantle of darkness beneath which you might gestate your most precious thoughts. Well, then that leaves us, I think, only this card here in the center. What a good card for you. This looks familiar, this card. The energy, let me see. Four of Cups, well, look, I think that this image shows a magical spell being cast using a couple of objects frequently found throughout the ancient Mediterranean, in Greece. I think this is a Roman scene here, and that is a figurine which has been pierced with needles. And the Latin word is a defixio, which is translated really as a curse tablet. A curse tablet, which people write down curses on people. And they were often written in lead, and they sought the help of the gods or a spirit of the place that was inhabited by the person, or sought the help of people who had already died to curse and to bind someone who one had an emotional problem with having parted from them, I suppose. Now, those items were used in a wide variety of spells. They were really most frequently used in love curses, and those curses were designed to bind a victim emotionally. And the object of the curse were often, the curse stone was then put in water. The lead that the curse tablet was made from was not only a popular writing material. A lot of inscriptions have been found on these things with spells, desired outcomes, images, and even the name of the victim. But it was also heavy, dull, and cold, thus symbolic of the emotional binding magic that prevented the victim from feeling any form of love or desire for anybody else other than the person creating the curse, the magician or the witch. And they're often those tablets, those curse tablets were also put into, the curse tablets were also put into graves. So people would put them into the grave with someone who had just died and exhorted that dead person to enact the curse. Now, the symbolism of the grave is also believed to cause the lifelessness and stillness of the dead to infect the victim, who would therefore be bound. Now, figurines used in love curses were often formed in bound poses, showing them as captives to the love being inflicted upon them, or damaged by twisting, breaking, or pierces. In a few cases, well, very few cases was this damage intended really to cause physical harm. Instead, it represented the emotional torment sent to the victim and their inability to feel love or desire for anyone else. Really kind of made them the emotional slave of the magician. Have you ever felt like producing such a love curse? Now, as to the mystery, the path of the heart runs through the depths of the ocean, and there it teems with life from the world's range of emotions. We all know of love, speak fondly of affection, and admire devotion, but who among us has the courage to embrace emptiness? Who can see the worth in the absence of love, not the bitterness of its loss? For that is not my mystery, but the dull plateau of disappointment, not love. Here, the waters of the heart are murky and dim, the light penetrating only briefly to the depths. Earth that once nourished now mires and muddies. Joy does not sing, nor do the lovers dance their abandonment here. My heart is the test of commitment and resilience. My song is that of the familiar. My promise is the final attempt to save that which is dying. These waters may no longer refresh and awaken you, but they yet have power. It is here, in the stagnant waters of the heart, when the reflection is most clearly seen, in the still surface of unmovable pools, that the face of the matter becomes known. In the mind and murk, truth begins to grow. What a very interesting spread of cards for you. That's the way it is this month. Well, that's January 2022 done for you. Fascinating, absolutely fascinating, I think. Don't you? I think it's going to be a great month for you. And don't you deserve it? You really do. Anyway, some interesting food for thought there, I think, and you know how to do it. Onwards and upwards for you always. Now, remember one thing, and it's one thing to remember until I see you again, and it is this, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.